February 5th, 2015, 11 a.m., Town Hall Hearing Room.
Everybody else set?
Yeah.
All right. Good morning. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen's meeting for Thursday, February 5th. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to have a moment of silence to reflect on our duties as board members to the town and also for the safety of our soldiers both abroad and in the United States. Thank you. In accordance with Mass General laws, I have to announce that this meeting is being recorded by East Long Meadow Cable Access Television and also by the Selectmen's office, and I have to ask if anyone else is recording it. Seeing no one, we can proceed. Our first appointment is our IT Director, Ryan Quimby. How are you, sir?
Hello.
How are you? That's right, don't shake. Let's see, you are here regarding, I think, some budget explanations, or?
Yeah, had my annual budget meeting with the Appropriations Committee, and they had a couple questions. So I had generated responses for those questions. I was, didn't get those questions in advance.
Yep.
So went back, generated the responses, and now we're gonna make sure you guys are all on the same page and everybody knows
Okay.
what's going on.
Okay. Here you go.
So the questions that they were asking were just a little more explanation on some of the smaller line items in my budget. One of them was the training.
Yep.
So the first sheet is the explanation of the three major training or conferences that we have in IT. The first one at the top is the Mass Digital Government Summit. That's one that I go to. It's out in Boston. It's a 2-day event, and it has a lot of other local directors, a lot of state employees. They have a lot of good sessions on security and other types of stuff. Next one's Tyler Connect. Typically that will be one of my employees, the applications analyst. She pretty much runs the Munis program, and one other person. I've gone to it in the past. We've sent Craig in the past. Doc, our bookkeeper, he's gone in the past. And then hopefully we'll be able to include some other people that really utilize Munis a lot. It's a really useful event.
And can you are we using Munis to its full extent?
We are not using it to 100%. We're probably around 70 to 75%.
Okay.
One of the things that I am looking at with we have a new Munis rep, is to kind of take the modules in Munis that we are not using and put those in like a vacation mode. So basically, we've already paid the upfront costs,
Yeah.
but instead of having to continue to pay the annual maintenance, kind of just put that on hold until we want to implement that module.
Right. Okay.
But the Tyler Connect, that's where they go through. They show you all the new stuff that they're coming out with. You meet with like the people that are on the other line, other end of the phone when you call support. It's a real useful event. The last one is the Casper admin training. On the education side, we went, primarily Apple devices. This is the software on the back end that manages all of the, basically manages them. So instead of having to do an update on 200 computers individually, this system, we can push it all out. So we sent one of our techs there last year, and then we have a new technician who we will send this time around.
Okay.
Question.
Sure.
Good, Jim. Have we ever thought about just sending one person and having them bring back the information as opposed to sending two?
We usually send two, and it's really only the Tyler Connect that we send two to, and they bring back the information and share it along.
Okay. Last year, I believe it was, there was a new policy that was instituted that says that when you go to a conference, you should have some feedback I don't remember seeing any feedback from these conferences. You said you went last year?
I didn't go last year, no.
Okay, all right.
I
Maybe you could
didn't get
just
a copy of
let me-
that policy,
Sure.
but I do have it
Maybe
anyway.
Maybe you can make sure that they get that.
I've had my employees do it anyway.
Okay.
So I actually have that information for you.
Okay, great. Love to see it.
The next, one of the other questions they had was the revenue we have working with Hamden. So that second sheet is just an outline of the times that we've visited Hamden, how much we've gotten in revenue, how much it's cost us. As you can see, to me, it's not a lot of money.
Right.
They don't really need that much of our assistance over there. They're kind of self-sufficient. It's just when they have the larger items, that's when they need to call us in. I don't know if you guys have any questions on that.
No, just was $1,800, $1,900?
Yeah,
Okay.
since January 2012.
Yeah.
Next sheet is, in response to one of the questions they had was, where are the savings in some of the IT projects that we do? So one of the two largest things where we save the most are in virtualization. This is a representation of desktop virtualization or the implementation of the thin clients. If you look on that sheet, it breaks down basically the electricity usage and the replacement cost of a computer versus a thin client. So as you can see from the numbers, an average computer uses 100 to 150 watts. Ours are about 150, the ones that we're replacing, and that's an actual measured, we have a little device that measures the electricity usage. Replacements are about 900 apiece. Expected life is 5 years. They're on, we'll say 50% of the time, taking into account, they're off on the weekends, but sometimes people leave them on overnight. So it'll cost, like an average computer, $133 per year in electricity and $180 per year in replacement, 5 years, over 5 years. The thin clients, in comparison, use 12 watts of power, are $315 a piece. Same expected life of 5 years, same utilization of 50% of 24 hours in a day. So they cost us $10.66 per year to run in electricity, and the replacement cost is $63. So we have 90 of those in service right now, where our electric bill savings should be around $11,000 a year, with a replacement cost reduction of $10,500 per year. And I got the kilowatt hour price directly from DPW, so
Okay.
it's like exactly what we said. So
Great. Now you said we have 90 of those?
90
Do we
currently.
have the potential to
Yeah,
get
we
more?
got probably about 110 to put out there.
Wow, so you could, the savings could end up 25 grand a year over what we got now in total, when all said and done. That's nice. Plus not even considering the replacement costs. So,
Right.
Cool. Good.
Yeah, the replacement cost is already factored in, like the capital plan takes into account, like we're not budgeting for replacing those computers with computers anymore.
Right.
We're budgeting to replace those computers with thin clients.
Okay.
The next is the previous current year, next year, and the previous 2 years. This is a breakout of the increase in the IT budget. So, whatever amount the budget went up, this is the breakout of what caused that to go up. So like in FY13, the biggest one was union salaries. FY14, the biggest one was maintenance contracts. That was when we added more modules into Munis, so that jumped that up. And I think there was another thing with this, our Cisco contract, which bumped that one up. FY15, our general expense budget actually went down $3,300. Maintenance contracts went up $16,000. And then the big one on top was with the Appropriations Committee moving the operations budget into my budget. So that wasn't an IT initiative, that was something that was, outside of my control. Not that I'm saying it was a bad idea, I do think it makes sense, but it was not something.
30,000.
Yeah. And then FY16, again, our general expense budget goes down $1,400. Maintenance contracts go up $7,300, and then the union salaries are $3,300. That one of the questions they had was, why does the IT budget go up? That kind of breaks it out and spells everything out for them.
this isn't the total cost, that's just the increase?
That's the increase over, yep.
So so what's the true cost of the, you have maintenance contracts twice in FYI 15.
It's, the colors are kind of similar.
Oh, okay.
The 30,000 on the top is phone expense.
Oh, yeah, they are very similar.
And the
Okay.
other one's general expense, right? The one, that's the 16,620.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
No,
16,620 is maintenance contract.
No.
Maintenance, okay.
1632 is the union salaries, right?
No, I'm talking about 16,000.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the 16,620. Yeah, the 1632 is the union salaries.
Okay.
Okay, so that's in addition to. That's on top, that's what the total increase was.
Right.
Okay, not the total cost.
So like that,
Okay.
that line is $0 increase.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can see like the general expenses below that line, but the net is above the line between the maintenance contracts and the $30,000 phone transfer or operations budget transfer, which does not include copier paper, just for the record.
Okay.
So then the last graph was the appropriations committee wanted to know basically what percentage of the IT budget is relative to other departments. So when other departments are saying they're not getting an increase, yet IT is absorbing that increase, so then I have to basically fight and take the hits for other people's increases across the board. So what I did was I went through every line item in the IT budget. It's not by any means a scientific equation, and took every department and said, this line item is 50% this department, this line item is X amount this department. You can see the general town, which is a larger one, is kind of like the general holding bucket. That's like the town website, for instance. I mean, it's kind of hard to pin what department the town website goes to.
Right. It can be used for all different departments.
Right. The ones that fall under IT is, like the travel, the stuff that, again, that's really hard to just pin on a department. As you can see, obviously, the schools are the largest amount. What I did with the employee salaries was I took our work orders and broke our work orders out into a percentage for the last year and said we did 45% of our work orders in the schools, and then I took 45% of the salaries for my employees and put those into that category.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Other than that, that's all I got for you.
All right.
That was
So
answering
now,
your
have you,
questions.
are you giving this to appropriations, or did you?
Yeah, I gotta meet with them on the 17th.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, all
Just
right.
wanted to meet with you guys because Billy's can't be there as my liaison because he's got to meet obviously with you guys. So
Oh, that's right. I was just gonna say I'd go, but obviously I can't go either. So, that's right, all right. So, all right, very good.
and if you guys have any questions, feel free. You guys all know how to get a hold of me.
Yep.
I think that broke down what they wanted,
Yeah. I mean, you were there, and I think that's pretty much takes care of all their questions. Like, I just wish I would have had the questions in advance, so
Yeah.
I could have been prepared and had a more productive meeting. But
Yeah. Well, as long as we got the answers, that's the important thing, so.
Exactly.
Very good.
Good job.
all right,
Thank you, sir.
you got it.
That was a pleasure.
You've gone through trouble.
Knuckles.
I thought somebody had a new nickname. He said that. Knuckles. I thought one of my relatives was here.
Oh.
All right. Under old business, Board of Health, we got some.
Well, we interviewed a health agent for the 5th time, Lois, and we gotta come up with, on the board here, what we wanna pay her, or what we're gonna do with her, until May. It's gonna be temporary until May, after our town meeting.
And I think through the chair, I think Nick had said that he was gonna work up some figures to, because he thinks there's money in that budget
Yeah.
to be able to increase her.
Were you able to, Nick?
I was, and before the board, in your packet, I took a look at the projections, and the short answer is, it appears that the budget could support increases if, that the board was discussing. And I broke down, and, well, what you have is a one-page on where the budgets are, the lines are for, at the moment. So, And then I provided the board with some breakdown at a $30 pay rate. I don't know how you want me to proceed, if you want me to sort of walk you through it, or if you want to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sort of take. The, currently, okay, in the Board of Health appointed salary and wages line item, you have $20,000 in that line item. And that goes to pay for the health agent and for the public health nurse. Now, the public health nurse is paid at a rate of $85 a week, so it's for covering for a minimum of 5 hours at $17 an hour, so $85 a week. The health agent, the board had approved a $22 an hour at 19 hours a week, so 418. So if we take a look and we add we assume 21 weeks left in the current fiscal year approximately. And if you take that $22 at 19 hours and you add the $85 a week for the next 21 weeks, you come out with $10,563. And right now we're showing $10,848 roughly in the in that line item. So if you kept everything as is, there wouldn't even need to be a shifting among line items for the remainder of the year.
For $22 an hour.
For $22 an hour. Now, if the board wanted to consider increasing, and I did a calculation at $30 because that's what I heard, so anything between 22 and 30, it would be a little bit of a lesser amount. But let's say for the sake here, we have $30 an hour at 18 hours a week based on what the candidate said her availability was. You come out with 11,340, and then you add on the public health nurse, gives you a total of 13,125. Basically, that particular line item's about $2,700 short. Now, that means you would need to transfer from another line item, which could be done. I've looked at other purchased services, which is a number, the total number there allocated is 55,212. That goes to pay for the gas extraction monitoring and any equipment or related engineering services that are needed up at the Summers Road, the fire station. And so we are paying Tig and Bond out of that funding for those services. Approximately on any given month, the bill might be $2,500, maybe upwards of $4,000 if it's, depending if there's something that had to be fixed or addressed. Anyway, you look at, and the other thing that gets paid out of that line item is the mosquito spraying. So the board saw the RFQ at the last meeting. So what I did was I tried to project out what the cost might be for Tig and Bond, for the extraction, looking at approximately maybe $15,000 between now and the end of the year, if we hold true to what the rate has been to date. If you look at the mosquito spraying, probably, I don't know what the bid will be, but if you did an increase, just round number of 14,000, that would be a 4.2% increase over last year. So that would be about 29,000 or so accounted for it, and then I even put on top of it another 1,000 in case you're going to start advertising for a health agent towards May or June, if it works out the way the board has been contemplating. That would leave right now a projected amount of about 7,000 left over in that line item, which to me shows that you could then, based on the $30 an hour, could pay that amount and cover the the 2,700. It would also, if the board wanted to talk about a stipend for travel within the town, that would give you some leeway there. And I added at the end there, if you wanted to do a $33 rate, that adds another $972. So all that added up should be able to be absorbed within that line item or through a transfer.
What, through the chair, in-state travel mileage account, what is that for? Is that Because we're talking a stipend, you know, in theory for her, coming out of the other purchase services account, when in
Sure.
fact, I was just doing the calculation, I wasn't on my cell phone in case anybody was, but I have used my little calculator. We could actually cover almost 4,300 miles at 56 cents a mile with what's left in the in-state travel.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that amount is, there are charges that have not been applied yet to that.
Oh, okay.
Account. So that account is actually, I expect it's closer to $1,000 left,
Oh,
but
okay.
that could still be a portion that could be applied towards
Okay.
that stipend or for
Mm-hmm.
the mileage. So that's not the 2,500. It's probably closer to 1,100 or so.
Yeah, we'll be getting our quarterly reports soon, so.
Yeah, through December.
Yeah, through December, yeah.
So, I'm sorry, you're the chairman.
So we're gonna have to take some type of a vote on what we wanna do. My own opinion, I don't think the lady's gonna come down here for less than $30 an hour and mileage. Because we brought up to her about the $22 an hour, and she thought it was wicked low, which I've been bringing up meeting after meeting.
Mhm.
And she's the only one qualified of 14 applicants. So,
And I think if I might through the chair, if we do raise it up to, say, $30 an hour, at least we've got a guideline now, so when we go out for somebody.
Mr. Chairman, I would say to the board that I don't recall, did the board make a vote on the candidate the other night, or that was held?
Yeah.
I
That
believe
was for the candidate.
Yeah.
Yep.
If the board wanted to, if you want to have the discussion in open session, that's the board's pleasure. I think that you could, if you wanted, have a discussion in executive under non-union negotiations, a strategy with respect to non-union negotiations, but you could also continue to have it in open.
all right. So I'd like to entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Well, we've got a couple other things through the
Well,
chair.
before you want to just table until executive
Yeah,
session?
we'll do it all executive.
Okay,
at the
we'll
end.
just table until we go to executive
Yeah.
session.
Okay. All right. You've got one more, but if you want, I don't know if you want to go over the,
Trash hauler contract?
yeah.
Yeah, we voted to accept the contract from Republic Service. Long Meadow want us to go in with them to try to get a better rate, but as Nick talked to, I think the guy's name was Stanley.
No, Bruce Stannis.
Huh?
Bruce Stannis.
Oh, Bruce Stanley, yeah. We agreed that the contract that we got, is feasible for us. So we decided not to go in with Long Meadow and let them fend for themselves. So we accepted that contract last meeting.
And if I might through the chair, couple points. It's going to work out to, I believe, a little less than 3% a year, although the first year with an adjustment, they were willing to do an adjustment for gasoline because of the price of gas, which will save about $14,000 versus the current contract. And because of that, the first year, it looks like the increase will be less than 0.5%. So, and then the other 2 years would be less than 3%. And one thing we had discussed were the blue bins, and I'm happy to report that they're willing to give us 100 blue bins a year during the course of the contract.
Yay,
So,
see?
Give us what?
100 blue
See?
bins.
Oh.
Yeah.
so
If you
that
don't
worked
ask, you
out.
don't
Yeah,
get.
that's
really.
right. So, and
So
it is
got it. Yes,
it's a
thank you.
5-year contract, but the last 2 years are at the town's discretion. So it's basically a 3-year contract with a 2-year.
Excuse me.
When did they-
It is a
did-
5-year with a 2-year.
With a
Oh, it's a
2-year.
5-year. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Reading is fundamental. I can see that right here. So
When did you talk to them on the bins, Paul?
I didn't. Nick
Oh,
did.
Nick did?
Yeah.
Well, the board had that discussion, and so I brought up the board's concerns and desires with that matter, and talked in generic terms about some of the things that the residents are bringing to the board members' attention, especially with the cold weather. And Mr. Stannis said, "How does this sound?" And I said, "Well, I think based on all of that, that sounds reasonable, so that's what I'm reporting to the board."
Great.
So how many is he gonna give it?
They've, will commit to 100 a year.
100 a year?
Yep.
So
That will
Zach-
just be given. It won't be
Right.
on a case by case. They'll just do that.
Yeah.
Great.
And that's a savings of, what are they?
Right now, the bins, if you order, depending on the quantity you order, but they're somewhere in the neighborhood of almost $8.
Okay, so that's,
The new ones are getting are bigger than the old ones.
Yeah.
18 gallon.
Yeah.
Yep.
so that's another, at least $4,000 over the life of the 5 years, so.
And plus what they get
That's
back
good.
for scholarships.
Right,
too.
right. Great. There you go.
Yep.
All right. I think that's it for health. Would you like to do the meetings, invitations, and reminders for
No, thank you.
Mhm.
No, I'd love for you to. read
Okay,
these.
thanks.
Thank you.
After your doctor's appointment, you.
God, just
Town-
put my business out there.
Town's office is closed Monday, February 16th, 2015, in observance of President's Day. The next Board of Selectmen's meeting is Tuesday, February 17th, at 6 PM in the Town Hall Hearing Room. And the March for Meals on Wheels Community Champions Week is March 16th to the 20th, 2015. I don't know if you want to expand on that, Nick, or if there's anything to
This was
expand.
a letter that the Council on Aging Director had sent to the board's attention, notifying you about the Meals on Wheels events in March, and trying to raise awareness of the importance of the programs, and also to invite you to participate, if you could, during the week of March 16th through the 20th. And if you are willing and able to, please contact the Council on Aging, or if you want me to on your behalf, but they'll likely be looking for a time that you would be able to go out and help deliver those Meals on Wheels.
Do you
Okay.
guys want to do it on
I-
the same day?
I-
mean,
I got to check my schedule, but I have done it in the past, and it was very eye-opening, because you just hear Meals on Wheels, but it was really interesting. Obviously, the people who take advantage of it are, need it in one form or another, and it was really great to be a part of it. So was that the week of 16th, is it 20th? Okay, all right. And what we do, I believe, is one of us, we each ride along with one of the
the drivers.
drivers, yeah, thank you. All right, very good. All right, I would like to make a motion to move into executive session to discuss matters of union and non-union negotiations, return to open session, only to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, Selectman Thorpe?
Yes.
Selectman Gorman?
Yes.
Selectman Federici, yes. All right.